In a world where people go trekking, who have questions about trekking, two people who go trekking are here to answer your questions about trekking. Introducing the Tuesday Tune-In, hosted by Andy and Dave.
Are we live? No.
As far as we know, it's live.
Let's check if we're live, mate. Let's check if we're live.
Are we live?
Live.
Tackling subjects such as
Talking about group travel,
charities,
altitude, flying, footwear, vaccination, fitness.
so you can make an informed decision about trips and go into them as prepared as possible. Years of expertise shrouded in top-level banter. Tune in every Tuesday at 12:30-ish.
I think it's all out, Dave. I think.
Hello!
Whoa. Calm down.
Too much?
Too much. So you got hair there.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to another Tuesday Tune-In. Just wanted to check that we're all good. Just that you can hear us. If you can hear us, do let us know. Do give us a little bit of a thumbs up, a wave, a comment, whatever you do. We'll just have a look and see who's on the live. Dave, who's on the live today, mate?
I can.
Eyebrows on here, of course he is.
Honestly, there's too many people. They're all scrolling up too fast. But Anthony Christian, Angus Ross, Elliot Nixon, Callum Reese, Alicia Laidlaw, Eileen, Kieran Clark, Leo
Jerome. Hello, Jerome. How you doing? Great to see you on, mate.
Who else have we got? Angus Ross. See what I mean? It's like, I can't pick
It's
a
a bit
name.
of a different setup today.
It's really, Priscilla, but you disappeared. Ed,
Anthony Christian, Heather. Of course, Anthony's on it. Yes, 100%. Great stuff. No, it's great to have you all here. Obviously, look at the numbers. Yeah, slightly busier than normal, but great to have you on. This is our Tuesday Tune-In. It's something we've been doing now for since the early part of 2020.
Yeah.
When the word that shall not be named was present. But yeah, in the April of 2020, we started doing the Tuesday Tune-In. I know a lot of Evertrackers have been part of the community since and joining us each week. And we do this every week on different topics, different subjects, lots of different things. And this week, obviously, we're going to be talking about Machu Picchu, which is, an awesome trip. And thanks to everyone as well that's been part of the Machu Picchu Inca Trail Competition. Epic amount of entries. We've had just under 23,000 people enter, which is nuts. So thanks to everyone for being so engaged and sharing and commenting, and also hearing some of the stories and things that you've been sharing as well. So yeah, how it's going to go. We'll talk a little bit about the trip. We've had a lot of questions in early, which we will get to, and thanks so much for sending those in. We've had a lot by email. Do drop them in the comments as well. Some of our Yetis in base camp, just the other side of that wall. Base camp is kind of weird, isn't it? It's because we call it base camp. It's not an actual camp. It's just our little office. But the girls are collating all the questions, and then myself and Dave will be able to kind of answer those for you.
Yeah.
Also, as well, we have.
Did
Zach creeping in to get rid of the rubbish.
Did Zach just steal a...
He was like, that's not proper.
I'll be honest, that was promotional material, Zach. That was a Cliff Bar wrapper. But yeah, you've got to make sure you're adequately fueled both for the mountains and the Tuesday Tune-In. They both require an equal amount of energy.
Exactly. But no, absolutely great. So we'll be talking about the trip. We'll do the winner announcement probably about halfway through. That's generally how we normally do it. Now, we did try, a few months ago, we did a Kilimanjaro competition, and we did call someone. So keep the phones at the ready, because we're going to do that the same. We're going to call the person, the winner. So definitely get your phones at the ready.
Just want to clarify, we tried to call someone.
We did try to call, and it went to voicemail, which was quite funny.
Yeah, but he was a teacher.
Oh yes, I remember now.
Didn't want to interrupt the lesson,
and that is a passionate teacher.
Looking after the future. That's what he was doing.
Exactly. So very, we'll obviously reach out to you, and as I am doing this, because I'm really organised, I don't always have the numbers to hand. So
Nice. So yeah,
So that's me
so-
trying to find the number. But anyway, that's half hour's time. So we got half hour for me to play around with the laptop whilst doing the live.
to
But there
find
we
a
are.
spreadsheet. Yeah. But awesome, Machu Picchu.
Yeah, Dave. Actually, I mean, it's
Bless you.
become. Wow. Let's start off with a little bit of humour.
Yeah.
With the trip though, Machu Picchu, especially the Inca Trail, because I think it's one thing that we always want to do is run trips that, you know, they're challenging, but they're also some a little bit different. We did launch a new trip in Peru to Machu Picchu, a new route, which we also do called the Tomochaea,
Yeah.
which has been really popular over the last few years. You know, because we did launch it in 2020, not
Yeah.
the greatest time to launch it. But we've had heaps of groups go on that, and we've had some groups as well go on the Inca Trail, because we started also doing the Inca Trail, which is, you know, obviously, you know, very famous for obvious reasons. I'll get my words out.
Obvious
today.
regions. Yeah, it is an obvious region. The Inca Trail is the one you've probably
Wow.
most likely heard of.
Yes, and it is, and for good reason as well, because it is the most popular. It's not that busy. Having trekked on it, it's, you know, some people say, "Oh, don't go on the Inca Trail; it's too busy." But actually, when I was there, last time I was there was in September last year. So yeah, about a year ago almost, and yeah, it was fine. You know, you see groups of people, which is great. You know, you get to sort of experience that kind of dynamic. But yeah, it wasn't like the M4 or the M25 or anything. It was similar, I'd say, to like Everest Base Camp or Kilimanjaro. You know, it is a popular kind of trip, and especially when you get to Machu Picchu, it's kind of staggered. So there's not like hundreds and hundreds of people in Machu Picchu at any one time. That they do limit the amount of people, the amount of permits.
Yeah.
So that's why with us we do tend to kind of get our trips booked quite far in advance, just to make sure there's no kind of permit issues.
Yeah.
So we make sure that our customers can get to Machu Picchu, which is, you know, what is an absolutely amazing place.
Yeah.
But right, I'm still fishing for the number, Dave, but which I will find in a minute. But anyway, Lima, which is the start of the trip. Lima itself, absolutely fantastic place. We tend to spend just a short time there because we want to get to the mountains. You know, that's what we're there for, right? We want to get to kind of Cusco. We want to enjoy the mountains. We want to get high in the altitude form.
In Lima.
Not quite in Lima.
Yeah.
You want to get to Cusco because Cusco is an awesome place.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. I think it's one of the things that I think is amazing about Machu Picchu is,
Yeah.
and the reason why I think it often sits at the top of most people's bucket list is
Yeah.
not just because that it's an awesome adventure, that the fact you get to trek at high altitude, you get to go to a remote part of the world, but also the historical factor as well. I think, you know, the actual ruins of Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
I kind of, you know, I mean, how old are they now? Some thousands of years?
Yeah, almost 1,000 years old. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a crazy story as well around them.
Yeah, absolutely
it's
amazing.
pretty
And I think that's probably why it sits at the top as well, because
Yeah.
it gives you that extra little special sort of reason to go there. And I've said this a few times, but one of the reasons that make a trek an awesome experience, even back here in the UK, if you're doing training, if you have a goal or like a challenge or a purpose for being out there other than just training,
Yeah.
I don't know why, it makes it fascinating.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember when we first went to find this old crashed bomber in the Brecon Beacons.
Yeah, which was epic, wasn't
and
it?
it was an epic hike.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt, I don't know, you get that true sense of adventure almost.
yeah.
I mean, we weren't the first to discover it. It was well known, but we kind of didn't know exactly where it was, so we kind of fanned out. It was an amazing experience. I mean, times that by like 1,000.
Yeah.
And you're getting close to what it must be like to walk into the ruins of Machu Picchu and this ancient civilization that existed way, way before our civilization. So fascinating.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts as well because, you know, when you are kind of following in the footsteps of you know, obviously people that have found it, you know, and the history that goes before it, it does have that kind of feeling. Now, you know, I'm not a spiritual person as such, but when you're there, you do feel like there's kind of like an energy to the place.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to describe. I suppose, you know, that's the mountains for, you know, they do give you that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Like with Evertrek, we started running trips in Nepal back several years ago now to Everest Base Camp, which is what, obviously where the name comes from, Evertrek, Everest trekking, you know, that's where we started, and we had lots of customers who were going there, enjoying the journey, and then we've kind of expanded, you know, our kind of trips that we do. And when we first went to South America, you know, okay, you're following in other footsteps, but it doesn't mean it's any less kind of awesome. It's still fantastic when you're
Yeah.
there. And, you know, the Inca Trail itself is actually quite challenging. You know, when people talk about Machu Picchu, they think it's easy. But any time you're trekking at altitude is a challenge. And,
Yeah.
you know, with the Inca Trail, you know, you do go over 4,300 meters over a pass called Dead Woman's Pass.
Do you know the story about Dead Woman?
No, I don't. I was going to say, did you meet the woman?
Yeah, no, but I need to find that out.
I know, we need to research why it's called
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I didn't ask actually at the time, but
Yeah,
I'd like to.
I'd love to
find
know
out if
why
anyone
is it
knows
called
that
Dead
story.
Woman's. I mean, I hope it's an ancient story and not like back in '95.
I was going to say we want to.
You know.
I think it is an ancient story, but yeah, it's certainly. I mean, there's names like that all around the world. Like we do the Tour de Mont Blanc, and there's one called Ferret Pass.
Yeah.
There's always these kind of interesting names. You know, there's always a little story that goes with it. So yeah, anyone knows why it's called that,
Yeah.
without the obvious, because there was a dead woman potentially. You know, let us know. Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear from that, and it's great to see the comments as well. Andy Howie, great to see you here. Claire Carr doing Kili 9th September. Machu Picchu is next on your list. Awesome. Kathy, we're hoping to go next year. Yeah, it's great. Seeing some lovely comments here. Excuse me.
I found out why.
Oh, okay. Explain.
The topography of the mountain range that you're actually walking by
Right.
gives the silhouette of a woman lying on her back.
Interesting. So it's not. It didn't
There's
actually,
a photo of it by there, you see, and it kind of works.
Why didn't I remember that? I see what you mean there. That's quite. That'll be interesting. I think if anyone gives it a bit of a Google, you'll be able to see. But yeah, or when you go into the trip yourself, if you can hear any noises, by the way, there's a train track just over there.
Yeah. I mean, to
Apologies.
be honest, we timed that to come by just as we were talking on the live, so they could be like, yeah, Machu Picchu, yeah. So
Here we go. It's clearly people that might have been there before. Thanks, Kim. Thank you for Silhouette of the Mountain. Great stuff. Yeah, thanks for sharing your knowledge with us, because it is really interesting, this kind of stuff, right? But yeah, when you go on the trek, obviously you've got like a 4-day trek before you get to the top of Machu Picchu, and you come through a little area called the Sun Gate. Now the Sun Gate is essentially, if you can get there kind of the time of day, the sun passes, and it kind of reaches an area where it's absolutely fantastic. The views, it's kind of that classic shot looking down into Machu Picchu. It's really beautiful place. And then as you drop down and you get to go into the actual citadel itself, nothing quite like that feeling. It's certainly a special place. It's quite big as well. You forget how big it actually is, because you've got the area that you kind of where people live, and then your guide and will explain this to you, but they'll walk you through the different areas of what goes on. Also as well, and on some of our trips, if people know and let us know in advance, we can actually get the permits to climb Huayna Picchu, which essentially is, if you ever seen the picture of Machu Picchu and you see there's like a peak or like a little bit of a mountain, that was actually the Incans' observatory. So the Incans were stargazers. They absolutely loved to do that on clear nights. And the steps that lead up to that was where they used to kind of map the stars, which is really fascinating, actually. I think they used to do that, obviously a long time ago.
Well, it informed a lot of their information, didn't it? In terms of like where they built things, their calendars and everything like that was all informed by that type of thing. So, fascinating. I love the idea of that, like that ancient civilization. Like the
really
Incans and all of that. Like, I think the history in South America is fascinating. With the pyramids and everything like that. It's
quite brutal, though.
You've only got to watch what was it, Apocalypto?
Yeah, exactly.
To find out, it was quite a brutal way of life. I mean, one of the things that I think is amazing, and I could be wrong here, but this is a little aside, was they find lots of these like almost perfectly preserved mummies.
Yeah.
Which were sort of young, maybe priestesses and stuff like that were sort of sacrificed.
Okay.
And if you look up, they're some of the most well-preserved, like braided hair. You can still see what they look like. They're not like the Egyptian mummies, that are like completely, almost like degraded. These are like this. They could have been buried like a month ago.
That's nuts, isn't it?
It's amazing
because they've kept them out of the air, essentially.
Yeah, they were so high in the mountain air.
Yeah,
and it's so dry up there and so cold
that
essentially like it preserves. I mean, all that history is just absolutely fascinating.
Exactly,
and it's all there.
It's great as well. It's nice to hear everyone's knowledge because you obviously got John there, John Cahill. Thanks, mate. The temples are set out so they resemble the constellations in the sky. Yeah. There's certainly some there, isn't it? And the brutalness of it is nuts. When I was in Cusco, and you hear about how it currently is, and there's a lot of, you can see the conflict there between the different kind of religions, and when Christianity was there in, I think it was the 14th or 15th century, and the conquistadors went over there, and it was mad that I think there was only about 200 to 300 conquistadors actually took over the entire Incan dynasty, which is nuts. And there's thousands and thousands of Incans, but
Technology, see?
yeah, because of the almost manipulation of the people, they were able to overthrow the kind of the Incans itself. It's quite fascinating, actually. Not to go deep into the history now, because I'll save that for the trip.
But that type of thing is fascinating. When you have a remote civilization that's largely untouched. I mean, they don't have immunities to certain diseases that were brought over.
It's pretty nuts.
And also, when you introduce things like, alcohol and tobacco and things like that, before you know it, it does start to, you can unravel a society pretty quickly. But all of that history there is amazing. But I want to stick to the trail for the meantime.
Okay. Yeah.
Aside from Machu Picchu, what would you say is the highlight of the Inca Trail itself?
I quite like. It's typical because it's not necessarily the trail, but I quite like the train journey.
Brilliant.
It's quite nice. No, it's quite cool.
Yeah.
But no, sticking to the trail. There's the first, I think it's called Lactapata, which is actually one of the. It's basically this high area, and you could look down. It was actually almost just as important as Machu Picchu, but got destroyed because it was closer to the roads.
Yeah.
It kind of got exploited, and all the rocks got taken away by the conquistadors. And essentially, that was where they kind of lived outside of Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu was actually for the royals.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really interesting history.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lactapata was really cool because of the views from it, because it's perched quite high. You got a bunch of steps that kind of go up to it, and then you got this really good vantage point looking down.
So Machu Picchu is essentially there for sort of high society.
It was the house of the royals.
House of the royals, essentially, and then in the surrounding village, like Lactapata,
that was one of the viewpoints,
just the general population used to be there.
And I forget. There's a lot of different names now for this, and it's all essentially the Incans used to speak. They call it Quechua, which is still a local dialect for actually quite a lot of the locals.
I've got a Quechua fleece.
I know it's quite interesting. I do remember that. Touch about equipment, but Quechua, was actually the one of the languages spoke by mountain guides as well. So all of our guides speak that language if they're from the area.
Yeah.
And that was the language of the Incans. So it's quite cool that language has survived even after all this time. So yeah, really fascinating. I hope I'm just sowing the seed really of the kind of what this trek is about, because lots of our treks are hard, challenging. They're glacial. They're in the mountains. They're rugged. With Machu Picchu, it is a trek about the history. Which if you're into that, it's awesome. And you will learn a lot about it. It's quite interesting when we come back. You almost like we viewed our guide as like the rock whisperer, because it was like he was almost talking to the stones because he was conveying the history. But and that's not being disrespectful. It's just a bit of banter, right? It's all good. And yeah, with that we were kind of joking and laughing. But the history means a lot to them.
Amazing.
It's important. And
I'm just enjoying Natalie's comment there. Always wanted to go since watching The Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, I remember that.
That's one of my favourite Disney. And I'm not a big Disney guy, but I like the no touchy. That's what he says.
I can't remember.
Oh, it's amazing, yeah.
Really?
It's just a kind of like spoiled little brat, and he gets turned into a llama.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, it's one of the best.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Talking
really
about llamas,
good.
you do see those and alpacas. Although I have to be honest, when you're on the trek, you kind of struggle to actually decipher between the two. What's the difference between an alpaca and a llama? This isn't a joke, by the way.
I'm not an expert.
Okay.
I couldn't even tell you which attributes are attributed to which.
Okay.
But one of them, I think, is got a big square head like a teddy bear, and is like really fluffy.
Yeah.
And the other one looks more like a kind of miniature camel.
So you might be on something there.
I think the alpaca is the teddy bear.
Yes.
And I think the miniature camel is the llama.
Yeah, I think you're pretty much right.
And by the way, the BBC, if you need anyone to replace Attenborough eventually,
He's irreplaceable. He's irreplaceable. But no, it's if anyone does know the actual differentiation between those two, because it's very hard to tell. Let us know. It's always interesting because obviously we're talking about the mountains, and we're specialists in high altitude trekking and the mountains, but when it comes to alpacas and llamas, we're not quite there yet with our knowledge.
No,
but it'd be interesting.
I did a walk with one once.
Here we go, Sheena. Llamas have got the long. Oh, literally the comments went. Got the longer neck.
No, that's
don't forget
that's giraffes. That's Africa.
Yeah, but I think she is right. They are slightly longer.
Slightly longer,
potentially. Yeah.
I remember one time I did a 5K walk, and you got to lead one around.
Okay.
They're quite. My one was quite a cantankerous animal, if I'm honest with you. He couldn't be bothered to do the walk.
Well, if you want to. But anyway, one of the reasons I mention it is that we're doing a acclimatization day whilst around Cusco. And we go to a little area called Huasca Cusco. Basically, it means like little Cusco, and it's absolutely it's quite a tough day actually. You do go over 4,400 meters, but with all of our trips, we build into what we call hike high, sleep low. Helps you acclimatize. So when you're at Cusco, and you will spend a few days there, you're about 3,300 meters. Really cool place. Great food as well. This food will surprise you if you're brave. And I probably recommend maybe doing this after the trek. And you don't want to, if you've got kids, please look away now. But yeah, you can eat guinea pig, which is,
Did you try it?
No, because I had to leave a day early. I didn't want to eat it before going on the trek because stomach,
Yeah, it's wise.
But a few people did, and give it a go. Let us know if you've had it. Let us know. How was it? Was it tasty? No.
Yeah,
it's a delicacy. Though,
one of the guys had it in Ecuador. Peru. One of our customers had it in Ecuador. Okay. When I asked him, he said,
"Wasn't a big fan.
Prefer chicken."
The locals love it though. The locals absolutely love it. But yeah, I've got a daughter Ellie who's 10, and I didn't tell her about these things, but she knows. She knows in certain countries that unfortunately guinea pigs are on the menu. It is a bit sad. You see these little animals on a spit, and you're like, oh, you feel a bit bad. But anyway, go for it. Why not? You're in. If you're there for, to experience the local cuisine. There we go.
Yeah. Apparently, you can eat fried tarantula.
Ooh, that sounds interesting. A bit hairy for me.
If someone brought fried tarantula, that's when the fight would break out. The plate would get flipped off. Zach, would you eat fried tarantula?
No way.
No way. Sorry, Zach's behind the camera there, just making sure everything's...
Yeah. You don't fancy a bit of fried tarantula, Zach? Maybe just the leg, maybe?
Maybe I'd try a leg.
Yeah. A leg? But that's it. But not the, what do they call it? It's not the abdomen, is it? Is it the abdomen?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Would you eat that? You'd eat it, wouldn't you?
I'd eat it, yeah. Yeah, I've eaten pretty much anything.
Absolutely. I like Matt has said that it tastes like ferret. Does anyone know what ferret tastes like?
I was going to say, that's not a normal tasting thing, right? Is that... We're going on flavours here. That's, a little different.
Hamster sandwich, Steph.
Sorry, Alicia there with a little sick emoji. Apologies if we're getting into some lovely food talk.
I know, yeah. Some people might not... some vegetarians and vegans might have turned off.
Kentucky Fried, nice. But anyway, talking about Cusco, and going back to what I was talking about before we got onto guinea pigs, was about, Huasca Cusco, so Little Cusco, is a really good acclimatization hike. It does take about 7 hours, and you will feel tired after it, but it'll give you a lot of benefits then. When you're hiking over, we talked about Dead Women's Pass. Mm-hmm. When you get to some of the high points of the trek, it will assist you in the acclimatization. So that's something that's kind of a little bit different that we like to kind of bring into these things, because altitude, it can be challenging. Less oxygen does put pressure on the body, but that's kind of where we're at. We are specialists in helping people at high altitude and succeeding.
I've actually heard in South America, a lot of the locals carry like a gourd around their neck.
Okay.
And in that gourd, there's leaves that are stuffed in from a local plant.
Oh, what is that local plant?
I think it's the coca plant.
It is the coca plant.
And if you chew those leaves, apparently it's very good for altitude sickness.
It is.
I remember I met a guy who was eating them, and he couldn't stop talking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no,
Wow.
he just wouldn't stop talking. He was eating these leaves, and then he was telling me, yeah, the thing is about Machu Picchu, it's actually really good. I really enjoy going up there. My thing was the altitude, actually, but when you get there, you take these...
Okay, so it's a little bit, yeah. Holly Sturk, how's the acclimatization and altitude with controlled asthma? We'll come on to that, Holly. Definitely, we'll take on these questions for you in about 5-10 minutes. So we're getting close to the winner announcement now. I know we're talking about Machu Picchu here, just to give you a little bit of a taster. But yeah, we will come on to that question because a fellow asthmatic here. So I will let you know how it went and also about our advice to asthmatics because it's quite important. Want you to feel comfortable. But what you were talking about there about coca leaves, actually, it's used quite a lot in Peru, especially in the mountains. All the locals tend to use it, or they tend to have it in their tea. It's actually really good. At different times of the day, it's all legal out there. It's all fine. It's obviously not the refined stuff, which is illegal.
Refined coca.
That's what they do, right? I don't know the process, but it's.
I've seen Narcos.
I suppose, yeah, we've seen a bit of Narcos, over the time. But yeah, it is used. And actually, I've had some in the tea. I've had some leaves, and it, can't say it helps because you kind of, as long as you're hydrating, you're looking after yourself, and you're going slow, should be okay. All going well at altitude. But yeah, it was quite a nice tea actually.
Yeah,
I would
100%. I would 100% try it. Like you say, not the refined stuff. But
I love Alison there. Apart from eating guinea pigs and tarantulas, the trip does sound amazing. Exactly.
Yeah,
awesome.
and
see, it's great.
Just to be careful, they are options. You don't have to. They're not compulsory. If I went on a trip and someone tried to force feed me a tarantula, I would just start windmilling to get that away.
But no, some great comments. Thanks for being so engaged as well. I know we're talking about a lot of different things here that we don't normally talk about: guinea pigs, tarantulas,
refined coca plant.
Refined coca plants. We don't normally talk about that stuff on Tuesday tune-ins, but what the heck?
Yeah.
If everyone's thinking it, so let's talk about it. But right, with the competition, I feel like we're kind of getting there because normally we do it at about half hour in.
And we're 2 minutes from that.
So I think there's a lot of questions. I want to get these questions answered. So once we do the winner announcement, which we're going to call that person as well. So I hope all of you have got your phones at the ready. Going to put it on loudspeaker. So hopefully the audio can come through. If you do answer, hopefully there's no swearing, but I can't blame you if you do. Anytime you win, I think all of us would be like, oh my god, it's quite a nice feeling to win these. And if you do win, obviously we'll be reaching out to you after the live as well, obviously to see who you're going to bring with you.
Yep.
But good luck. It's been a fantastic couple of weeks, obviously for everyone that entered the Machu Picchu competition.
Yep.
Dave, I'll tell you what I'll do. I am going to. I've got the number ready now.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna.
And you've got it over there.
I'm gonna get the board.
You're gonna get the board. So you've got a board with the name is written on there. So we're gonna tease with that one.
Well, it's although we're kind of technological now with our setup.
Usually,
there's traditions. And
there are traditions. Yeah,
that's
exactly.
All right, Zach, I'll get it, mate.
Okay, right.
But I'm hiding it. Don't worry, I'm hiding it. Hang on, is this flipped, by the way? Is this going to read right when I hold it up?
Yeah, it's all good on the screen.
Oh, okay, yeah,
So
we're not Catrive.
Yeah, it should be fine.
It should be fine.
Let me just check. We got the right person.
Yeah, right.
We have to check.
What happens if we call the wrong person? We can't revoke the prize. We have to just give
No,
it away too.
exactly. It is the way it is. But I hope I got the right number here. Unless somebody has put in the wrong number, I'm going to check. Right. So let's do this thing. Hopefully, please answer, because we had a good voicemail last time. Right, let's have a look, Dave. Okay. Oh, this is tense, isn't it?
Should we hold it close to the mic?
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
If this is you,
answer the telephone.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Is that Nelly?
Hello.
Nelly, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
Oh, great. Okay, it's Andy and Dave from Evertrek. How's it going?
Oh, hi. Yeah, all right.
Wonderful. Yeah, a little bit of a surprise, but we're on the Tuesday tune-in, and we noticed that you entered the Machu Picchu competition. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just wanted to let you know, actually, that you're going to Machu Picchu, mate.
I'm sorry?
You've won 2 places to Machu Picchu.
No.
Congratulations, Nelly!
I can't believe it.
Ah, great stuff, great. Sorry to jump in and surprise you like this. We wanted to just.
It's a nice surprise.
Oh, no worries. Well, how are you feeling?
Oh, shocked. Shocked.
You feel like a winner, Nelly. That's what you feel like. She feels like a winner.
Everything in my life.
Well, look, massive congratulations. Yeah, we just announced it live on the Tuesday tune-in. So your name is on the board. I don't know if you if you're on
No,
Facebook.
I didn't check it yet.
Oh, that's okay. No worries. Well, look, we'll reach out to you after the after we're finished. But we just wanted to wish you a huge congratulations, and obviously thanks for being an awesome Evertrekker as well. And yeah, we'll be in touch about when you can go to Machu Picchu.
Okay, brilliant. Look forward to hear from you again, and thank you so much.
No worries. All right, we'll chat to you soon.
Thanks, Nelly.
Okay, take care. Bye.
Bye. Well, that was fun, wasn't it?
That was amazing. And she answered.
And she answered first time.
Yeah.
Now, huge congratulations to Nelly. Now, to everyone else, it is obviously almost 23,000 people. It's hard to reward everyone, but we will be in touch after, because we do have some runner-up prizes that we like to kind of give out for people who've entered. So do keep an eye on your emails over the next hour or so. Obviously with Machu Picchu, and if you are interested, we do have two different options to go to Machu Picchu, and it is a fantastic trip. But what we'll do now, we're going to take on some of these questions because we've got a lot here, and I want to get them answered. I know there's not all of them about Peru, some about trekking, some about altitude. So Dave, let's take on those. But yeah, that was interesting.
First one, Alicia Wiseman, you've actually answered. What's your favourite section of the Inca Trail? You've already said that. So Monica has said, which is your favourite trip that you organise? Unfortunately, she won't be able to join the live as she'll be flying back from adventures in Kazakhstan and Kurdistan.
That sounds awesome.
That's amazing. Yeah. Wow. Favourite trip that we organise is really difficult. It's like trying to choose a favourite amongst your children. But as most people know, you do secretly have a favourite. Yeah. And I think it'd have to be my firstborn, Everest Base Camp.
Yeah, it's interesting. We just did a training weekend in Banau Brycheiniog, in the Brecon Beacons here in Wales. This weekend just gone. We do have some spaces on the October one. I think whichever Yeti is listening, do drop the link in. We do have some spaces if you wanted to come on that, by the way. And we were asked that exact question. What was your favourite trip? I think they're all watching it. And this came up, and because of where we started, essentially Evertrek was started when I went out to Nepal, came back, and wanted to help people go to Nepal and also help Nepal itself, and it's kind of expanded from there really. But Everest Base Camp was the first trek that we did, and a big influence. So yeah, and because of the journey of it, we love it. But that doesn't mean any of the others, like Dave said, it is like choosing your children.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to any of them.
Yeah.
But if I had to live on an island with just one of my children, it would be Everest Base Camp.
Brilliant.
I mean, that's like gun to my head.
It is.
I'd rather you not put the gun to my head, and I can just tell you that I love them all equally.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you going EBC as well?
EBC.
EBC. Yeah. EBC. Zach,
love it.
Tupcal.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Good man.
Zach's a Tupcal specialist, by the way. So if anyone needs any questions about Mount Tupcal,
he's done it twice.
Or wants like a travel partner, he's available.
Right, next question. Joe. Sorry, not Joe. Sorry, I've skipped ahead there. Yes, it is Joe. Is it okay to use sterling or euro when arriving at Kathmandu Airport? So we're talking about Nepal. Any references I've seen are quoting US dollars. Yeah, Joe, whenever you go there, a lot of people just take their bank card and draw it out the ATM. They can take US dollars. What I would say is that those US dollars you need to exchange into Nepalese rupee. So instead of doing it twice, like if from the UK, sterling to dollars, then dollars to Shirley. Sterling.
Why are you paying Shirley?
Surely not. You may as well just do it once. Otherwise, you're losing out on a few pound by doing it twice. So I just take pounds, or just withdraw out ATMs. It can be frustrating. If you are arriving and getting like an entrance visa, do have some cash on you as well, just so you can. I think it's $40 US.
So it has to be dollars as well.
Has to be dollars. They have done it before in other currencies, but just as you're going through there, it's a lot easier if you do have some dollars. So small, $40 to get that visa.
Yeah.
Good question, though.
Awesome. Lucy B has said,
Yeah.
my questions are, do we get a kit list before the trip
Yeah.
so we know what to bring and how the meals work? 100%. So there's two things there. So the kit list wouldn't necessarily give you the information on meals, but the good news is that we can. Also, when you book onto a trip, you'll get an amazing planner. There's loads of information in that as well. You can download a guide from our website, which will give you a lot of information. But also, if you have anything specific, pick up the phone, send an email, talk to the Yetis, and they'll give you the expert advice so you'll know exactly what to bring, exactly what you'll be eating, where you're going, and how you're going to get there.
Nice. Kerry Underwood. Hey, Kerry, how you doing? How hard walking trail is it? I do the Malverns, Brecon Beacons often, so is it a similar trek or is it a harder trail? So, yeah, actually, from a trekking perspective, from a walking perspective, it's relatively easy. They're quite well-trodden trails. They're well maintained, they're looked after, there's no kind of scouring of kind of the sides of peaks or anything on the Inca Trail. But the obvious one is just the altitude. Now, when you're thinking about altitude, it does slow you down, your body does need time to adjust, but that's why we kind of go the route that we do, on the Inca Trail and also the Tomokaea route that we do as well. Just so it's good for your body and good for your acclimatization. It just means that our altitude, you don't feel like you need to be Wonder Woman here. The fitter you are, the easier it will be. But we've had all different types of fitnesses and shapes and sizes on our treks. Like at the end of the day, if you're out there and you're walking in the Malverns, Brecon Beacons already, then you probably already got that base level of fitness. Obviously, the more you can do, the more you're just going to enjoy it. So Kerry, if it's on your list and you really want to do it, we'd love to help you on that journey, definitely.
Awesome. Monique has said, can I ask a question? Yes. The question is, could you tell me a bit about what a normal trekking day looks like? How many breaks would there be? Do we wait regularly for slow walkers to catch up?
Yeah.
Will there be a guide at the rear? You just want to get a feel for the treks when you are not in command of your own time. So on pretty much all of our treks, they follow a similar sort of feel. So you wake up, you get everything ready. Once you're all ready and packed and ready to walk, you'll go down and have breakfast. After breakfast, you start the trek. Generally speaking, there's always a head guide, at least one or maybe two or maybe three assistant guides, depending on the size of the group, and then porters or animals, depending on how we're actually transporting the bulk of the gear. So naturally, the people do move like a caterpillar up and down the mountain. So we have regular breaks. They're not sort of we do stop for lunch, which is scheduled in. All the other breaks are like any normal walking day. If you're a bit out of breath or you're a bit tired or you want to stop and have a drink, then you just stop, take some pictures, have a drink, and then carry on again. There's no rigidity to how you're forced to move. There is always someone at the back as well, making sure that no one's left behind. We generally stop, and then the group will come together. It's not as bad as it is sometimes in the UK, where the group can get really stretched out, because when you trek at altitude, you want to trek quite slowly anyway. So everyone's trekking within themselves, nice steady pace where they acclimatise well. And then once you have stop for lunch, then you'll carry on and go to the final destination. And usually everyone sort of arrives within about an hour of each other. Most days you'll arrive more or less together. Nice. Hopefully that helps.
Awesome. Eileen Kieran Clark, what is the best month to go to Machu Picchu? Really good question. Generally, it's kind of the central parts of the year, really. So you're looking, and we have dates on these times. So you're looking anywhere between sort of May, June. Then you've got kind of August and September. They're the kind of two best months. And obviously, the earlier you get, so May and then the end of September, they're kind of quietest periods of time. But any time you go there is fantastic. I've been there in September. It was really good. The weather was great. We did have a little bit of snow actually, because I was actually doing part of the Tomokaea route, we woke up to 6 inches of snow, which is pretty nuts. You think South America and Machu Picchu, and it doesn't scream snow, but I suppose that's the mountains. That's the weather. It can happen anywhere, right? It's those are the kind of best months to go if you're going to go to either the Tomokaea or the Inca Trail.
Awesome.
Whatever time you go, you'll love it, mate.
Matt, how fit do you need to be to trek at over 4,000 feet? Feet, not very fit at all. Meters.
I bet that's what you meant.
Yeah. So meters. So generally speaking, it's different for every individual. Altitude affects us all slightly differently, and that's the real challenge. Yeah. The truth is that the fitter you are, the better you will perform at altitude. So there's two things about altitude that often get said. One is it doesn't matter how fit you are, anyone can get altitude sickness. That's true. Yeah. The other thing is that the more fit you are, the less likely it is to happen, because you're more likely to get altitude sickness if you overexert yourself, because that means you're getting fatigued, you're likely going to dehydrate, almost certainly you're going to be moving too fast to recover overnight, and then altitude in the mix as well, it all goes a bit south. If you've got a decent level of physical fitness, then that means that you're not overexerting yourself, you're walking well within your capability, you're not tired at the end of the day, you recover well, and you can hydrate well. Yeah. So those things are true. What does fit mean? Well, it's different for everybody. You don't need to be a marathon runner, you don't have to be a triathlete. We simply say get out in the hills, do as much training as you can to build some strength and endurance in the legs. You'll know the difference, because once you've been walking for a week or two, you'll feel much stronger in your legs. After a month or two, you'll feel like Superman. And that's what we recommend. If you want an in-depth like training plan or anything, just drop us a message and we can help you with that.
Great stuff. Just to kind of drop in as well, especially for some of our kind of EverTrekker veterans, normally what we kind of do with trips is that we, especially over the last kind of few years, especially during COVID, we kind of drip feed trips that we wanted to kind of test and release. Really exciting news, we have got some more new trips that are actually going live today. Now I know today we obviously have talked about Machu Picchu a lot, but there are some other new trips. We will be sending everyone kind of an email about this and be posting in the group as well. But do you know how many new trips we got?
Is it 5?
No.
Is it 4?
No.
Is it 6?
No. It is 5.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
I was waiting for the 1 then, and I was like going to count up.
Oh, were you going to, did you want me to count up?
Dramatic.
Okay,
Mind.
we could.
Do you know how many trips we got?
1?
No.
2?
No.
More than 2?
More than 2.
4?
Almost.
It's 5, isn't it?
It is 5.
Wow!
That's what I should have played out first time. Yeah, we have. We got 5 new trips that actually will be on the website are ready today. So yeah, after this we'll be dropping out information. We got some dates on there that are ready to rock. We're really excited. Little teaser. They're not. Only one of them's in Peru. Guess where the other ones are, Dave?
Are they in Brecon?
No.
We're doing the no thing again, okay? Are they in Russia?
Thank God, no.
Okay, Nepal?
Yes.
What?
There's some new ones
There's
in
some
Nepal.
new ones in Nepal. Awesome. Do you know what, though? I've been to Nepal quite a lot. I actually want to explore Africa.
Then, thank God you are.
Is there one in Africa as well? Amazing.
There is, yes, there will be. There's actually a trek in Uganda that we'll actually releasing as well, and another one in. So we got 3 new ones in Nepal, which is fantastic because Nepal is such a great country to trek, and we've also got 1 in Peru and 1 in Uganda. So that's 5 that we're releasing today. It is actually the most we've ever released in one single time since the beginning. So yeah, it's a bit nuts. Yeah. And I know to a lot of our EverTrekkers that have been around the community for a while, is a lot of trips, but we'll be sharing those that information very, very soon.
Yeah. Karen Bardet has said, exciting news, but how am I going to afford them all?
I know. Well, this is it, isn't it? We've got dates, some of them into 2026, so yeah, hopefully they're a little bit of achievable.
So
for you guys.
my suggestion, Karen Bardet, would be to just book one at a time. Do
Yeah,
one,
exactly,
and then once you finish that one, then book another one. And it's very manageable then, bite-sized chunks.
Exactly. Right, let's finish off questions. We've got about another sort of 10, 15 minutes, so keep firing the questions to us, even if it's about the new ones, no worries. So let's have a little look. Peter Morali, how has the area, obviously talking about Machu Picchu, become commercialised, or is it still wild and nature? Yeah, really good question. And Peter, yeah, just to be kind of true for you. Unfortunately, it's not the kind of remote jungle that it once was. It is has been found. And this means no, not.
I was going to say,
Sorry if that came across.
We've got
wrong.
machetes like cutting it down.
What I meant was that because of the infrastructure's there now, and it's because it's well known. I wouldn't say it's like I've been to some really commercialized places, in Europe, Asia, Nepal not being one of them, and it's not like that at all. It's still you still get the feeling of that remoteness, especially because the local authorities look after it. They want to keep it that way. So especially the citadel and the trails, they're really well looked after.
Awesome.
So you've got that feeling of remoteness, like you do in a lot of places. It is very, very, very special place. Hope that
Awesome.
came across all right, mate.
Josh Talbot has asked what's the food like on Kilimanjaro. Honestly, very good. Every single person that I know that has done Kilimanjaro with us has come back and said, wow, the food, how was I supposed to eat it all? You have way more than you can eat. I'll be honest, it is catered towards sort of Western tastes because it's important that you keep eating. There's like chicken, there's fries. I'm pretty sure we had a pizza one day.
We did have a pizza,
and for breakfast, there's lots of porridge, pancakes, like little sausages and stuff like that. We can cater for vegetarians, vegans, gluten intolerances, any other type of dietary requirement.
Yep.
So the answer in a nutshell is very good.
Very good. Great question from Andrew. Will you bump it to Harrison Ford? You never know. You never know. He's been known to frequent some graves around there, so you never know. Really good question though. Who was it? I believe. Where is this question? It was really good. Sarah Jane Hooley. Really wanted to do Machu next year for my 40th. What a awesome! It's my 40th next year as well. Prove that life starts at 40. Well, hopefully it continues, right? And have some adventures. Has anyone done this solo? Are there groups you can join for solo travelers? Yeah, Sarah. So all of our trips are group trips. So when you go on them, you will be with other people, especially with Machu Picchu, because we do have a certain amount of numbers we kind of have as a minimum to run the trips, and kind of just want to put your mind at ease as well. I'd say like that over 50% of everyone who comes on our trips are on their own, as in they book just by themselves. We do get the families, we do get the groups of friends, people with their partners, all that, but we get a lot of solo travelers, and actually there's more solo females than males coming on our trips.
Girls are braver.
It's across all of our trips. So certainly don't think that you're on your own. They're very safe, these places. I know they're obviously far, far away. It is adventure travel, of course, but with regards to coming solo, you're never really on your own. You'll meet people. I think that's a big part of these trips, is that you actually get to make lifelong friends, and sometimes they're the guides as well, and some of the team that you actually look after, you become friends with. But actually, we've had people meet on trips and get married. We've had people, especially like Everest Base Camp, people go there and they're with their group, they come back and then they all go to Kili and then they all go on other trips. It's absolutely fantastic. It's one of the things we really love about our trips, is the groups and how that happens. And you don't get on with everyone, right? It's that's just life. But the type of people that come on these trips, they're good people.
Yeah. Awesome. Daniel Saxon said, how did last weekend go and was the weather kind?
It was very interesting. Who was that?
Daniel Saxon.
Was it Dan? Oh, hey Dan, how's it going?
Yeah, last weekend went awesome, and no.
The weather's never kind. If it's August in Wales, in the middle of summer, it's raining and windy.
Well,
and it was fine.
Actually, it was like a trek in January up there. Yeah. Wind, rain, sleet, cold, freezing temperatures, and then when we get back to the accommodation, it was a mid-August weekend.
Yeah,
it was lovely. The sun was out. It was warm. Shorts and t-shirt weather.
Absolutely loved it. Though.
So yeah, absolutely amazing.
If it's not raining, it's not training, right?
Yeah.
And who said that originally? I think it was Bry. Mick.
I think it was Bry,
back in the
Mick,
day.
And I think Lee has said it a few times as well.
Brilliant.
I think it's an army thing.
Yeah, it's definitely is. Good questions, these though. Wildlife for Wigton. No name, but Wildlife for Wigton. Hello. Recently read about altitude pills. Is that necessary? Is they help? So yeah, you would have heard of. So altitude pills essentially is a drug and a pill called Diamox, which is called acetylazamide. I think it's a bit of a tongue twister.
Pretty good.
I know, not bad. Eh? And essentially, over the years, it's been well known in the mountaineering industry, especially now the trekking industry, that it's kind of a tool. It does suppress altitude symptoms. A lot of people see that as a good thing or a bad thing because you want to know if something's happening to you, right? But honestly, I used to be on the side of the fence that no, don't take it. You have enough water, you go slow, you're going to be fine. But I've seen literally hundreds of people, if not thousands of people, take Diamox, and it's completely changed their trip. It's an absolute game changer. I remember my sister, 2 days into an Everest base camp trip, and she was really struggling. She was on Diamox, fine the entire way. Now, obviously, if you've got any underlying health conditions, it's worth chatting with a medical professional about taking these kind of things. Diamox was brought about, was it from epilepsy?
Epilepsy
years
and
ago?
I think glaucoma.
Yeah, and they tested it, didn't they? And it worked.
I mean, there's a blog about it as well. So actually, if the guys can find it, a Diamox blog that we put out about it is quite useful. It's interesting the way it works. I'd love to know how they actually figured out that it would work for altitude sickness. How that came about.
Yeah, that would be really interesting.
But yeah, essentially, I think when you're going to altitude, you get more red blood cells, but that process takes about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So we're there often less than that time. So the body likes to cheat. And so what it'll do is it'll sort of increase the ratio of red blood cells to everything else in your blood by starting this diuretic process. So when you go to altitude, even without Diamox, you pee a lot more.
Yeah.
And then if you take Diamox, you'll turn into a racehorse. So I think it just turbocharges that process. But yeah, you're right. I've seen people with their head in their hands like this. Oh, I can't go on. Diamox, bit of water. The next morning, they're like, right, where are we going? Where are we going? So I think, why
exactly. Karen Ellen, really good question. Does altitude affect you less if you've been before, and how long does a gap make a difference? So yeah, every time you go to altitude is the first time, essentially. Isn't that right, Dave? Yeah. So that's one of Dave's. That's
what I said it before. Yeah.
They'll giggle.
Yeah.
So we will have these in jokes, right? No, but it is. Because the gap essentially is about 2 weeks. So if you went to altitude, the benefits of being at altitude kind of stays with you for a couple of weeks. I remember once I went to do Everest Base Camp, and a day after I got back, I did a Cardiff half marathon, and it was amazing. I was, oh my god, this is great. 15 kilometers in, hit a wall. But there we.
You won, didn't you?
No, I won. I won my race. That was happy. I got round, which is winning for me. But the point is that I did feel, because I had extra kind of my blood was more oxygenated. It had more red blood cells. That meant the oxygen was getting transferred around my body quicker and more efficiently. It does help, but that doesn't last that long. So most people, when you go into altitude, you've got to do the same things that you always do. And that's drink plenty of water, go nice and slow, have a good acclimatization program, which are built into all of our trips. Some of our trips, especially the ones in Ecuador, they're a bit kind of aggressive with the altitude ascent because of the kind of lay of the land, and you can't really get around it. But most of our trips, like 99% of them, are built with acclimatization in mind. Yeah. And I think even like other companies, that's generally how it works. We do that even more in terms of like extra acclimatization days, or we gotta choose the longer route rather than going the quicker one. Just something that's really important. So like I said, plenty of water, get your body in a good place. I know we touched on Diamox, and people do use that either as a kind of pre-thing, as if they take it from the outset, or as a kind of reactive thing. If they're getting bad, they then start to take it. Yeah. And all of our guys do carry it as well.
I used it on Killy.
Yeah, and it helped you, right?
I mean, that's in an example for the question. I'd done EBC 4 times and never needed Diamox at all. In fact, I felt great. And then when I went to Kilimanjaro, on the day I went up to Lava Tower, I just started feeling a bit woozy and a bit dizzy. In retrospect, I think I probably could have rode that out because Lava Tower is a tough day, but then you go down and sleep low. So if I'd have allowed that process to continue, maybe it'd have been okay. But you know what? It's not about risk-taking for me. It's about enjoying the trip, getting to the summit and having a great experience. And if my knee was hurting, I would take ibuprofen. If I had a headache, I'd take some paracetamol.
That's it, it's a tool.
And if I get altituded, I will take Diamox.
Altituded.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I know some of the team have shared on there, you might have seen the British Travel Awards link. Yeah, not spam links from us. So essentially, we've been nominated. We did win last year, the best walking and trekking company in the UK, which was awesome because it was consumer voted. It's the largest consumer voted awards in Europe in travel. So yeah, we're very proud to win that one. But they got rid of that one for some reason. And this year it's the best adventure travel holiday company. Now, no, we don't really do holidays, but we, in terms of that, it'd be great to win it. I know there's some details rolling on the screen there, but in the link, for anyone that's been part of Evertrek and the community over the last few years, you've been on a trip or you've had a great experience with us, would be awesome if you voted for us. That would mean so much to us. To win that award, to win another award 2 years in a row would be really proud of that. And it's because it's consumer voted, it's as much our Evertrekkers award as ours. Yeah. Which is awesome as we grow and continue to kind of grow into new places in the world like we're doing now. We've got 5 new trips today. We've got some others in the pipeline. Obviously, we want to make sure all these trips are good before we just kind of throw them out there. We don't do that willy-nilly, so we want to make sure they're good first. Yeah. But yeah, with the award stuff, if you have voted, fantastic. Awesome. Great stuff. Well, look, we've got a few more minutes. We'll tie up with some questions, Dave.
Yeah. I'm looking for one. I stalled for a second. Okay.
So you would go to the Harrison Ford question.
That's exactly the first one I looked at, and then I remembered. You did it. So Andy Howie has said, having not used Diamox before,
hey, Andy.
When you start taking it, do you need to continue for the rest of the trip? The answer is yes. Yeah. So once you start taking Diamox, whether that be at the beginning or halfway up, the best course of action then is to continue until the end of the trekking. The reason being is that you will feel better once you start taking Diamox. Yep. If you then go 1,000 meters higher and you're still feeling better and you think, I don't need this anymore, and you stop taking it, it has the effect of just sort of immediately lowering the rate of acclimatization. Yeah. So it can be quite if not dangerous, it's just risky. Altitude sickness is almost certainly going to take effect in one degree or another. So yeah, once you start, you need to carry on until the end, or at least to the same altitude where you started taking it.
Lovely. Alison Morgan, I think you've asked a couple of different questions here. Right? I can see where you're getting at. Do you get any children in your groups? Good one. And is there a minimum age of EBC? Also maximum, it'll be my 60th. Well, firstly, there's definitely no maximum age. We've had people in their mid-70s go to Everest Base Camp, Kili, on a lot of our trips. What I would say with children, we've had children on our trips. Just a couple of examples. We had a 12-year-old boy with his mum on Toubkal, who summited Toubkal, which was absolutely fantastic. And, I remember Paula saying that it was actually life-changing for him. We've also had a 15-year-old customer called Leah, who went to Everest Base Camp, which was absolutely fantastic. So whenever there's, because we do get some families who want to come. We were at Gone Wild Festival, which I believe is this weekend. We're not there this year, but we were there last year, and we were talking to a lot of different families.
Is it this weekend?
It is this weekend, yeah. It's coming out fast.
I know.
It's a shame this year, but we always like to try these things out, and sometimes they're good. And Gone Wild is a great festival, by the way. I know it's run by... it's run by Bear Grylls and a couple of different kind of people, but it's very, very good for families.
Yeah, very family friendly event.
Yeah, absolutely great place. We're just not there this year.
No, to be honest, I'd wait till next year maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, we might be. We'll see. Yeah. But absolutely fantastic because when it comes to families and things like that, we do want to kind of encourage them and get them on trips. And if you do have a child that wants to come with you, just ask us. We don't have a minimum age, but some kids are different to others. Yeah. We get some 15-year-olds that are into trekking and into hiking. We get some that definitely probably wouldn't advise taking them. But you'll know more about what your child is capable of than us. Yeah, and it's just worth having a chat.
Exactly. Yeah, you can take some 8-year-olds that'll fly up there, and you can take some 18-year-olds that'll spit in your face if you suggest walking to the spa. But awesome, Trevor Bailey, how's it going, Trev? Hopefully you dried out from the weekend. He asked what's the name of the company that I got my medical kit from. So what Trev's referring to is the Nomad. So Nomad Travel Clinic is the company that I go to get my travel vaccinations. They do like a diarrhea kit. It's £25. And I would rather lose my boots than my diarrhea kit because that bad boy can really save you. You can always buy new boots, you can always make do, but if you get struck down with travel sickness, the Nepalese napalm as we call it, then you're in trouble. So
is that the Nomad, is it?
Nomad Travel Clinic. Nomad Travel Clinic do a £25 travel sickness kit, and it's got some prescription broad spectrum antibiotics in there to treat stomach bugs and some other, wonders.
Fantastic. All right, guys. Well, yeah, I think we've gone through a lot of the questions now. Thanks so much for joining us this week. Obviously, been great, doing the Machu Picchu winner announcement. It's nice that she answered, which was actually quite good. Quite first time we've done that, so it's a little bit different, right?
Well, first time it worked.
Exactly. As I said, though, we've released a lot of new trips. I know a lot of Evertrekkers are on here who've been on trips with us before, so definitely check those out. And we'll be kind of getting that all sent over this afternoon, especially if you join the competition, because we'll be sending out the runner-up prizes. Any other questions, though, do drop them in. That's what we're here for. Dave, any final thoughts, mate?
One thing that's popped into my head that I'm pretty sure I'll get an elbow in the ribs if I don't mention it is the Evertrekker rewards.
Yes.
We've got the for anybody that books a trip with Evertrek, they then become a member of the Evertrekker reward system, which is essentially this awesome referral way of getting money off your trip, helping other people's go on adventures. Honestly, I can't quite believe we got away with it. It's that good. Have a look at it when you get booked in. It's seriously good. I mean, I think it's, and obviously I'm biased, but I think it's one of the best, referral schemes that you can have. You can get hundreds of pounds off your trip, if not for free. Everyone else gets a benefit too who gets referred. It's win-win. Yeah,
exactly. And I think over the years, we've, just chatting to Evertrekkers, even this weekend, they're like, oh yeah, I recommended this person. And, we know people like to talk about the adventures they go on. And if that's in a good way, definitely join the Evertrekker rewards, because you do get, like Dave said, some kickback, and you can get some money off your future trips, and sometimes that's free. And every time you refer and then they go on to book a trip, that does count as a referral for yourself. So awesome. So share the adventure, share those memories, with your friends, your family, anyone you know. But you have to register. So I think they're going to drop the link into the comments.
Yeah.
I know we have been sharing it. If you do go to the Evertrek website, go to the About menu, it's in there anyway. That you can actually, and the Evertrekker rewards, and you can click through and you can sign up.
Yeah.
Just so we're able to track that, because we've got some clever little data and tech that kind of works and tracks, who you're referring, who you're kind of sharing with, because you get your own sharing link, and then you say you share that on WhatsApp to one of your friends. They then kind of book, then you get some kickback, which is awesome, right?
Amazing.
We'll see you next week. Have an awesome week.
Awesome.
Look out your emails.
I want to see John Cahill here next week. He says he's going to have to pop in more often. John, if you're not here next week, then I just might not turn up for work.
Great stuff, John. Nice to virtually meet you, mate, and we'll catch up with you next week. It's in the link. There we go.
They got it.
They got it just in time. There we go. Awesome. But bye, guys. We'll see you next time.
Take it easy, guys. Bye.